Believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terence gonna get in there and do what he needs to do.
Crawford just released his training video for Canelo, and it's already clear he's not treating this like just another fight. His trainer, Bomac, has made that very clear. Bomac revealed that he's already brought a serious weapon into camp. A fighter who doesn't just match Canelo's size, but also brings real danger. Lester Martinez. Martinez recently destroyed Johann James, who had never lost before, and made it look easy. A fourth-round knockout like that doesn't happen unless you have both speed and power. That's exactly why Bomac wants Martinez to push Crawford to his limits every day in sparring. I got this other kid, man. Nobody really heard about him. Well, some have, but his name is Lester Martinez, man. He's from Guatemala. And
Crawford, that the size and the strength of CaneloAlvarez will carry the day, ultimately wearing the perceivably smaller Terence Crawford down. What do you say about that?
I tell you like this. The man must have seen something when he called Canelo out, because you got to remember, Bud called Canelo out. So he must see something in order for him to get that win, and he know he can win. So like I said before, it's our job to hit him.
Man, that boy is bad as, I tell you, 168 lbs. He beat up. He's got a couple of world championships. 168 LABS. Martinez naturally walks around at super middleweight, the same weight class Canelo dominates. Crawford has never fought there. He hasn't even tested himself at 168 in a sanctioned match. He dominated at 140, reigned at 147, only moved up to 154 once, and now he's skipping the rest and jumping straight into the deep end, against one of the best ever. Canelo has sat on the throne for years. Bigger men have tried to overpower him.
I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No.
He's faced more punchers than Crawford ever had to deal with. But Crawford isn't worried about Canelo's size, and neither is Bomac. Everybody that believes in real boxing, hardcore boxing fans, they know Canelo, just like that.
G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you...
They knew Bud was going to beat Spence. It's real simple. You just have to know boxing to say that Terence is going to get in there and do what he has to do. Perform. Bomac was direct when asked about the size. Crawford's team isn't ignoring the disadvantage of size.
I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with a hard shot, but he's able to roll.
They're just not letting it control the narrative. He didn't pretend it's not there, but he dismissed it as a decisive factor. No, I'm not worried about size, he said. Terence has a great eye for boxing and a great boxing IQ. The only person who can beat Terence is himself. That level of confidence isn't new for Crawford's camp, but against a naturally bigger fighter like Alvarez, it will be tested more than ever. Bomac admitted that being worried is a natural part of preparing for any fight, but it doesn't define them. He's made it clear that he trusts who Crawford is and what drives him. He knows this fight is about legacy, and most importantly, about proving the doubters wrong and rewriting history by doing what no one else has. Many think Canelo's size and strength will be too much, eventually breaking Crawford down. When asked about that, Bomac said, "I'll tell you like this. The man must have seen something when he called Canelo out. So D must see something to believe he can win. And he knows he can win. Like I said, it's our job to get him there. Crawford is chasing something no one in this era has done, becoming undisputed in 3 weight classes. He already did it, at 140. He did it again at 147 against Errol Spence Jr., delivering his best performance yet with multiple knockdowns and stopping an unbeaten unified champ. The Canelo fight at 168 isn't a soft move up. It's a direct leap into the top of the division against its king. When asked if this is Crawford's toughest fight, Bomac didn't hesitate. "Oh yeah," he said. "Just look at Canelo's accomplishments. I feel I've got the speed over him, the reach too. He might have size and power, but I've got the better boxing skills." Whether it becomes a cat-and-mouse game or a war of power, the truth is Canelo has knocked out top fighters, from Kirkland to Amir Khan. That reality alone shows the deep respect Crawford's camp holds for Canelo's experience and championship resume. The names on Canelo's resume say it all: Golovkin, Kovalev, Plant, Smith, Saunders.
I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw CaneloAlvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing.
He has faced and beaten some of the most respected fighters across multiple weight classes. There's no Triple G on Bud's resume, no Trout, no Daniel Jacobs. Canelo is the one who has consistently fought elite-level opponents. He even fought Lara, and there's no Lara on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multi-division champion. That point gets repeated for a reason. Bud is an elite boxer, but he hasn't faced the same kind of opposition. That level of experience brings more than just technique or toughness. It brings composure, timing, and fight IQ. Canelo knows how to control the pace, conserve energy, pick his moments, and make opponents feel his pressure even when he's not throwing punches. Crawford has said, "I just got to beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen?" Yes, absolutely. When I look at Canelo, he's a smaller big guy, moving up divisions. These bigger guys are slower. They might catch him with something, but he might see it coming. Even if they land a hard shot, he can roll and absorb it. That same poise was something Dmitry Bivol pointed out too. The Russian light heavyweight, one of only 2 men to beat Canelo, was ringside after Canelo's win over Munguia and gave his thoughts to Fight Hub TV. Bivol said Crawford's mindset could be the difference, calling it a champion mentality, and saying that Crawford's mental strength could set this fight apart from all others. In a recent interview with Fighting TV, when asked about the matchup, Bivol said, "Canelo did what he had to do to get the victory. As for what's next, it's clear. Terence Crawford versus Canelo is the biggest fight in boxing. Canelo is the face of boxing, and right now, he's the best possible opponent for Terence Crawford. Out there, this is the biggest fight for Terence Crawford." In the fight against Munguia, Bivol observed that Canelo controlled the pace the entire time. When he wanted to rest, he rested. But Bivol believes it'll be different with Crawford. There will be no easy rest, no control without pressure. Crawford won't allow Canelo to move freely or dictate the fight on his own terms. That's coming from someone who shared the ring with Canelo and knows how hard it is to beat him. "I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walk around the ring when he wants," Bivol said. "Because in this fight, Canelo did everything. When he wanted to rest, he could rest easily. The other guy didn't challenge him, but with Crawford, it'll be harder." Still, Crawford isn't Bivol. He's not a natural 175. He started at 135 and built up slowly with training, discipline, and careful progression. The jump to 168 is a big one. Now he'll be facing someone who can take punches that would drop welterweights. Crawford's timing, footwork, and adaptability all have to scale up. He must carry enough power to earn Canelo's respect, without losing his speed or accuracy. That's the main goal of this training camp, and that's exactly what Lester Martinez is helping him prepare for. When asked about the challenge, Bomac didn't hold back. Canelo? No problem. I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. Excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. You saw what Canelo did to Amir Khan. Now look.
I can see him doing it, you know. Is it a challenge for him? Yeah, of course. It's a challenge for the whole team? Yeah, of course. And that's something that we in the business for, being great. I mean, we all can retire from that, after that. You know what I'm saying? We can retire after that, and we just sit back and do what you're doing.
Crawford moved from 147 to 154 to fight Majima. What did he do to Majima? Nothing. Nothing. The fight will be promoted by Dana White under the new TKO banner, a partnership between White and Saudi boxing official Turki Al-Sheikh. This is White's first official step into boxing promotion through TKO, and it's happening in a huge way. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on September 12th during Riyadh season. Turki Al-Sheikh has called it the fight of the century and teased major TV platform announcements coming soon. This is more than just a title fight. It's a crossover event meant to unite different fan bases, starring two of boxing's most skilled and recognized names. And here's a secret. If he lets me, I'll ask him what the very first event in September will be. So, is Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White clearly signaling that the first main event under TKO boxing will be CaneloAlvarez versus Terence Crawford? It seems like it. Some fans even believe the fight could stream live on Netflix. This matchup appears to be part of Turki Al-Sheikh's blueprint to set up Canelo for an undisputed title shot in May. Al-Sheikh made the fight happen after public demand and likely behind-the-scenes negotiations. At one point, Canelo had dismissed the idea of fighting Crawford, calling it a lose-lose, beat a smaller guy and get criticized, lose and damage his legacy. But that changed when Al-Sheikh got involved. Canelo admitted, "Everyone is asking for the fight. My guy Turki Al-Sheikh wants it, so that's why we are here." When asked what he thinks of fighters who only try to survive 12 rounds, he replied, "That's a mediocre mind. They just come to last the distance." For Crawford, this isn't about money or hype, it's about proving something. After Canelo's win over Munguia, Crawford said, "I'm feeling blessed. Everything happens for a reason."
Crap, load of rubbish. The fight really was a waste of time. If you haven't watched it, don't watch it, because there's better things you can be doing, like probably watching the grass grow or watching some paint dry maybe. But that fight was a total waste of time. Watching that as a former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and Hall of Famer, I was thinking to myself, what an opportunity you've got there. If I was fighting still 10 years ago, if that opportunity came up for me.
Greatness looks like. That's not a catchphrase to him. It's his mindset. He's always carried himself with quiet confidence. When asked why he believes he can beat Canelo, he simply said, "Because I am the best." That's why people are going to watch on September 12th. Canelo responded with respect, but didn't hide his concerns. "People say he's moving up 2 weight classes. Once he gets touched by me, it's going to be different," he said. "I'm concerned about whether he can absorb my shots for 12 rounds. I know I slow down in later rounds, so I may need to start fast and wear him down early." Still, Canelo added, "There are so many components to being a great champion, and Crawford has them. He's one of the best out there, and I respect that. That admiration is mutual, but the fight is still very real." Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's trainer, even admitted this might be Terence's final fight. At nearly 38, with world titles in multiple divisions and nothing left to prove, this could be his last moment in the ring. "Yeah, it probably could," Bomac said. "There's no hesitation. It's a challenge for him, for all of us. But that's what we're here for, to be great. After that, we could all retire and sit back, just like you're doing." This fight is the culmination of a journey. A win would put Terence Crawford at the peak of modern boxing history, undisputed at 135, 140, 147, and now aiming for greatness at 168.168. No one else has done that. Not in this era, not since the WBO was officially recognized alongside the WBC, WBA, and IBF. Only Oleksandr Usyk and Naoya Inoue have come close, and neither has attempted what Terence Crawford is about to try. While Alvarez cruised to a unanimous decision win over Munguia, the real story was the lack of intensity in a matchup that should have delivered much more. When asked if Canelo is avoiding him, Crawford said honestly, "I don't know what that man is doing. Every time I speak up, people say I'm chasing a payday, but I've been the mandatory challenger for 2 years. I won a title eliminator. And I won the WBC? That should have guaranteed me the fight. It's crazy this hasn't happened." During the Canelo versus Munguia fight, Munguia fought cautiously, constantly circling the ring and refusing to engage.
We all knew was going to run.
He focused only on defense,
Cuban
offering
style.
almost no offense.
You chose
Canelo
him.
tried repeatedly to cut off the ring and land power shots.
Runners?
But
well, then,
Munguia's movement
runners.
made it hard to connect cleanly. The fight became a dull loop of one man retreating and the other marching forward, with little drama and barely any real action. It was disappointing, especially given the stakes. Fans, expecting fireworks, got a slow-paced chase instead. "It was crap, a total waste of time," said one viewer. "If you haven't watched it, don't. Watching grass grow or paint dry would be more exciting." Former unified super middleweight champion and Hall of Famer Carl Froch shared that view, calling it a wasted opportunity. Claressa Shields didn't hold back either. A 2-time Olympic gold medalist, she said both fighters were to blame. "When you're fighting a runner, it's your job to cut the ring off," she said, echoing the frustration of fans who paid expecting a real battle. Her words added professional insight that hit hard. Oscar De La Hoya also chimed in, criticizing Canelo for handpicking an opponent known to run. "You're getting paid all this money to fight a runner, a Cuban-style fighter we all knew would avoid exchanges," De La Hoya said. "And now you complain about it? You chose him." His comments pointed directly at Canelo's recent pattern, playing it safe and possibly avoiding the riskiest challenges, like Crawford. "Was going to run a Cuban style. You chose him, and now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners. We all know who we want to see you win against." Yet the situation with William Skull was not entirely Canelo's doing. The fight became necessary after Alvarez was stripped of his IBF title for refusing to fight Skull earlier. Skull later claimed the vacant belt, which meant that if Canelo wanted to become undisputed again, he had no choice but to face the Cuban-born fighter. It was a mandatory bout, not a cherry-picked payday, and that context matters in this conversation. Still, the result didn't look good. Canelo had a big chance to show his dominance before the much-hyped fight with Crawford, but instead walked away with a win that felt more like a placeholder than a statement. Oscar De La Hoya continued his criticism and offered a different option many fans agree with. "We all know who we want to see you win against," he said, referring to David Benavidez. "Go up against Benavidez. Fight Benavidez. He won't run." That reflects what fans have been saying for a long time. Canelo should face the younger, unbeaten Benavidez, known for pressure, high volume, and nonstop aggression. It's a fight with no place to hide and no room to coast, unlike some of Canelo's recent opponents. De La Hoya didn't stop there. He questioned the direction of boxing as a whole, saying, "It's a good fight, but it's sad. You know, it starts from the top too," pointing to the promotional systems that avoid real challenges. "A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of boxing, unless you count when Pacquiao beat me. But I was a dead man walking anyway." It's a tough test for Crawford, he admitted, but he's not counting him out. The bottom line, this is a money grab. As this builds, all focus now shifts to the massive fight ahead. Canelo vs. Crawford is official, and reactions are pouring in across the boxing world. Julio Cesar Chavez, one of Mexico's greatest legends, spoke strongly about it. Talking to Fight Hub TV, Chavez predicted a knockout win for Canelo, saying, "Crawford is in over his head at 168 pounds. It's not even close," he said. "Crawford is a great fighter, but Canelo is out of his league. Crawford is chasing money, and Canelo is going to knock him out." Chavez's words caused a stir, especially since Crawford has looked dominant at 147 and even 154, where he beat Errol Spence Jr. But moving up multiple divisions to face a bigger, more experienced champion like Canelo brings in new risks, ones many think will be too much for Crawford. Crawford responded to critics by saying, "They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up in weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that." Teofimo Lopez, another rising star in the boxing world, gave his thoughts in an interview with ES News. He acknowledged that Crawford would likely see some early success, but ultimately believed Canelo's power and adaptability would take over. "I think Crawford is going to give Canelo a hard time in the beginning," Lopez said. "But once Canelo gets a little comfortable in the ring, adapting to Crawford's style, we'll see Canelo finish him in the late rounds." Lopez's view added nuance. While he respects Crawford's skills, he sees Canelo's size and experience as decisive when the fight settles in. Whether it ends in a decision or a stoppage, he believes Canelo will come out on top.
Jumping that much
Listen,
like that?
We can have the skills and everything, he added.
Jumping like that
but
much,
jumping up that
I don't
much,
think Crawford's
getting
ever
hit
fought
like
a
that,
fighter that's
I
hit
don't
him
think Crawford's
directly
ever
straight,
fought a guy who
constantly
hits
in
him
the
straight on,
arms.
constantly, even in the arms. It's not that they can't. They just don't think that way. He also reminded everyone, "You gotta clear it out, guys. Remember, this man's been pro since what, 14? But not everyone agrees. Former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs gave a totally different take, boldly predicting that Terence Crawford wouldn't just win, he'd stop Canelo. "I got Crawford by stoppage. Brutal stoppage," Briggs told ES News. "I'm telling you, Crawford by stoppage. Betting $100K, I might make a little bit of bread." His prediction, while brash, reflects a growing belief among some boxing insiders and fans that Crawford's timing, adaptability, and accuracy could shock the world, even against a naturally bigger fighter like Canelo. But what's your take on the fight? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.